Let me actually turn on the recording as well so we can do this for the YouTube and do a bit of a rundown. So here we are on a brand new patch day. We are, I believe, 2 weeks later than Aberrus normal clear was available. Am I correct in saying that? I'm pretty sure. There were like one reset and another reset further after we cleared Aberrus. So what happened is in this patch 10.1, there were the Primal Incarnates. They opened up the way into a location previously completely, hidden away from the world. And this location, Zarlek Cavern, we met up with the Niffen, who are these mole creatures which, oddly enough, didn't play a massive role in the overarching story. We met some of the Drogbar that are really into slug races, and we learned more about the history of Neltharion, but not a whole lot. Like, we learned that this is the place where there was, like, Shadowflame, which is a corruptive power, and we learned that he was talking to the old gods, which we kind of already knew. But either way, we, of course, do have his children that follow his lead, and we have Zarlek. So, do we have Zarlek? Yeah. No, Sarkref. Sarkref of the Sundered Flame. Sarkref is a Dragfear who decided to step away from all of it and follow their own path. And here, they really became gung-ho about claiming the legacy of Neltharion, but they're not the only ones. Like, going down here, one of the first things that our allies tell us is that they hear voices, they hear whispers. And, none of them really makes mention of, oh yeah, there are the old gods out and about. Nah, they just hear a voice, okay? Not even our local expert on the old gods, Rephion, makes mention of it. But these voices, they do seem to have its effect on them. Rephion and Sibelian, as well as Sarkref, they all become very obsessed about who is going to claim the legacy of Neltharion. Up to the point where Ebonhorn is like, you know what, you two, you just do your thing, okay? Sibelian, you just called Rephion like an expendable, like just a creature that he could throw away on the battlefield. Rephion, you just walked away a couple of times, you didn't really do much during this patch. You two figured it out. I'm not going to join you into Aberrus. You two figured it out along the way. Accompanying Ebonhorn, there was Kill Commander Emberfall. And Emberfall has been hot on the tracks of Sarkref and trying to stop him from what he was doing. Sarkref got his hands on the gloves that we saw Neltharion use in the Legacy episode in order to control the Dragfear. And we confronted Sarkref, we destroyed the glove, and, Emberfall made sure that their people would never be controlled that way. But at the same time, she got really tired of killing her own people, and she was like, you know what? Y'all just go into Aberrus, that's fine, I don't need to go there. And so we, the heroes, joined Sibelian and Rephion into Aberrus. And inside, we saw the echo of Neltharion, or as upon his death became revealed. I was gonna say became known, there was a Faceless one that was actually running around as the echo of Neltharion, talking to the children of Deathwing, like Rephion, you will be my true heir, and Sibelian, you will be my true heir. But ultimately, neither one of them really wanted to go that far. Neither one of them was willing to step into the footsteps of their father, and with good reason, right? Like, we took care of Deathwing for a reason. But our boy Sarkref was ready to go all the way. Sarkref, the Dragfear, ended up at the end of Aberrus, where the way that I understood it, and I don't think they've actually 100% confirmed it, but the way I understood it, there was like a breach into the domain of the Void. It was like a place where I was gonna say very similar to how Sire Denephrius was able to dive into the Maw. He had like a little laboratory thing go on. Very similar here. We see a Neltharion that was able to dive into the Void and like communicate with those whispers and slowly but surely go mad. But yeah, where Sarkref went all the way and tried to claim the power, we of course rose up and we stopped him. To which Rephion and Sibelian, they both gaze upon Sarkref. And Sarkref wonders, like, is this the legacy of Neltharion? Just empty whispers, empty promises, darkness? And they both reflect on what exactly have we been fighting for, what exactly do we want. Now, I do have some opinions about storyline, but let us first see the wrap-up, because the wrap-up we didn't get until 2 weeks later, which is a bit of a shame. For some reason, they time-gated it. I don't know why. I kind of feel like this should have just been directly after Aberrus clear, but it is what it is. I was preoccupied. What is it?
Mistakes were made.
Sarkref is no more.
To correct them.
His hubris left him vulnerable to the dark influences that have assaulted our flight for millennia, just like Neltharion before him. I believe Emberfall seeks more answers than what Rephion and Sibelian are able to give. She may need some assistance.
We must rise above our own conflict.
Sarkref.
I am sorry for the friend you lost.
As you said, he chose his path. And yet, though he was deeply misguided, Sarkareth deserves a farewell that befits the Drakthir he once was.
Of course. I will go with you to the place he fell.
Oh, I really like the bond
There
between...
are still dangers remaining in Aberrus. We should not let them travel alone.
Agreed. Champion, will you join us? This is a path best walked together.
I really like the connection between Ebonhorn and Emberfall. It's a nice one. I kind of expected to... Oh, okay, they're going to stop here, and then I need to talk to them. So, since the beginning of Dragonflight, both of these have been fighting each other over the legacy of who gets to become the new aspect for the Black Dragonflight. Refion's motivation wasn't really about becoming the leader of his flight, quite the opposite. We've seen Refion actually take care of the Black Dragonflight ever since back in the Cataclysm, where he recruited rogues to take care of his father, equipped them with legendaries, he rooted out the corruption that was amongst his flight, and then he focused more on the protection of Azeroth. Now, he definitely made some mistakes along the way, like, for example, causing Warlords of Draenor to happen, amongst other things. But at the same time, his goal was more aligned as to becoming a true Black Dragon and focus on the protection of the world. For Dragonfly, though, they've decided to change that motivation into also wanting to become the next aspect. And perhaps we can assume that that is just how he felt. And now that there's some competition, now all of a sudden he feels threatened. Perhaps it was just an unspoken thing that he also always expected to be. But then again, you have to wonder, like, what kind of Black Dragonflight did he actually expect to lead after murdering all of them? But that's neither here nor there. Then on the right, we have Sibelian. Sibelian is a very old dragon. He actually used to walk the path with his father, Deathwing. He ended up in Outland, he got stuck there, and during the Burning Crusade, we actually partied with him in, not Red Ridge Mountains, no, in... I will look it up. But we partied in order to take care of Gruul the Dragon Slayer in the Blade Edge Mountains. There we go. We partied to take care of the Grun and Gruul the Dragon Slayer. And Sibelian pretty much did whatever he needed to do to survive there. He also became friends with Rexxar. And that's how they hung out. Now, a lot of things that Sibelian has done has been happening off-screen, unfortunately. Like, you can't reverse time, because he's been stuck there since the Burning Crusade, and he hasn't done anything. Even when Refion went on his whole crusade to take care of the Black Dragonflight, he didn't care, nor did he know about Sibelian, because they were in Outland. So a lot of the things are now explained after the fact. A lot of the things are now explained with Dragonflight. For example, I believe it's because Nuzov is defeated that they don't deal with the corruption of their flight anymore. He had to make some choices, he had to stand up for them, and as well as he was able to bring over Black Dragon Eggs, which of course secured the future of his flight, because for the longest time, the Black Dragonfly was nearly wiped out. Do we know who's older, Sibelian or Ebonhorn? We don't know, as far as I'm aware. We know that Ebonhorn came out after the War of the Ancients, so that's over 10,000 years ago. I don't know when Sibelian came about. So... Sibelian is around pre-Sundering. Do you have a... like a timeline on that one, thanks? That we know when Sibelian came about? And apparently the requirement for those asking to do this questline, you need to have cleared the raid. So why didn't they release all the LFR wings so everybody can do this? Again, I don't know. I don't know what's up with this time gating, but you know.
It seems our fates are intertwined.
But either way, to the point. We've seen these two in Dragonflight fighting over who gets to be the next leader of their flight. And it was also a big part of their renown system. Like, we get to choose, okay, who do we want to support? Ultimately, you can get your faction up with both of them, your bar failed. But you kind of get to choose who do you want to support. And even back then, we made a video like who becomes the new leader. And everybody had their own opinions and their own motivations as to behind Refion or Sibelian. Personally, I thought Ebonhorn was the better choice, even before we saw what went down in the story of Aberrus, in the story of Embers of Neltharion. But they've been pushing really hard in the story of Embers of Neltharion to make Ebonhorn the next aspect, to make him look better. Like Refion, even though he's very knowledgeable about the old gods, he's pushed to the side and doesn't really do a whole lot. And Sibelian is just constantly used to make Ebonhorn look better, and it's like, interesting. So my expectation is that Ebonhorn will be the new aspects. I'm going to assume that this is what the quest line is going to bring. I have seen some PTR stuff as well. But we're going to find out. Ready to enter, baby.
Azeroth faces...
That is a while ago, Lamination. Hello there. Nope, just here, Barricade. You just made it in time. Let's see the finale. Experience the retelling of Sarkareth's fate. Huh. So we got a bunch of black talents. Okay. Hello. What's this? An Inchodi Beastling. Oh, what? Oh. Okay. Cool.
We meet again, champion.
Can you tell me what happened in here? No. I want to experience what this
I
all...
knew of Deathwing's corruption when I was still in the shell. But I had no idea how deeply it ran.
Father pursued his goals with relentless conviction. He was never fond of half measures.
A trait you admired?
In some ways, yes. But now, seeing what it can lead to, I am less certain.
The boys have learned, though. That's nice. And of course, during the laboratory, we saw just how far Deathwing was willing to go, especially when it comes to like the creation of the Dragfear. And that there's also a story told in the caverns itself, where you can see that they just threw away old experiments to the wayside that are still haunting the area even to this day. Deathwing took no prisoners, even before fully embracing the powers of the Void. Because we got to keep in mind, Aberrus happened before the War of the Ancients. And with the War of the Ancients, that's really the moment where Neltharion revealed himself to the world to be Deathwing.
Your report?
Loyalists remain in the experiments wing, and the laboratories are still infested with warped beasts.
And the other wing?
We're holding against the Jarradin, but it is still heavily contested.
Thank you, Kavia.
Oh, it's not entirely cleared out. Cool. All right, so for those that haven't seen the ending of Aberrus yet,
Speak your mind.
let's just take a look-see at the cutscene, shall we?
The black...
I was your loyal soldier, father. Did I not uphold your legacy? Was it all just an illusion? Empty promises, leading us only to oblivion.
Oh, now you get to witness the cutscene without the rest of the raid looking on as well. That's kind of cute. Okay.
You stand before the Black Prince.
Here we are. Admit that the Black Dragonfly's legacy is rife with moments that many would deem disreputable, vicious, or even vile. So understand the weight of my words when I say that the contents of this edifice may be the worst of it.
Never let your guard down.
My friends, you know me better than anyone. You were there when I came into being. My birth was anything but natural. I was crafted, much as the creatures in here were crafted. Many died painful, tragic deaths so that I could live. This callousness towards the living is something I wish to eradicate. Take this and use it to destroy any intact specimen tanks that we encounter. Nothing deserves to suffer like this.
Learn from the past. Look to the future.
And Sabellion, the sycophants shame themselves to the Black Dragonflight. It is clear that they are willing to die in service of my father's dark machinations. Let us not disappoint them.
I will claim my rightful place.
Let's find out. Okay. It's a good thing we looked at the quest, at the cutscene, by the way. It is...
Twisted malevolence. The air is thick with it.
That ends today. This is the final culling.
Was it like this when you hatched? Were the others truly so far gone?
Worse.
They weren't haunted echoes he'd left behind. They were devoted followers of the bleak future he'd led them to.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't see Deathwing at the end, did you, Sabellion? No. What the hell? Cool. This is the Shadow Flame operation, ain't it? Yeah. Okay, so they got this barricaded, so you can't go much further. There was one achievement that I saw during the raid that was kind of cool. There's when it comes to the creation of the Dragfear, which played a big part of what we saw down in the laboratory, there is an encounter where you fight 3 versions of them, and they are like experiment number 4, experiment number 78, and 5249, something like that. But there's also one that's like an albino one, and it's part of the achievement, and you need them to be hit by different abilities for the achievement itself, which I thought was kind of cool. Now, next to that, and I don't know if I completely missed out on it, but I remember that in the patch for Return to the Forbidden Reach, we came across this mother dragon who dared to oppose Neltharion, and was like, Neltharion, you're abusing your experiments, and he warned her, like, if you keep this up, I'm gonna put you in stasis. And by the time that we find her, she's put in stasis. But I don't remember us actually helping her. I don't remember us actually liberating her from that stasis. But what I do know is that they were busy sucking out the Black Dragonfly powers, which is going to return to them. The next ability that they're going to add is, I believe, a combination of Black Dragonflight and Bronze Dragonflight? Something like that, to like support their allies.
What is this?
Ew. The Jardin's body is gaunt and wasted. Its life energy is siphoned away by the hungry machines that power this dark laboratory. Perhaps there are other Jardin imprisoned that can be spared from this horror.
The Jardin are ruthless adversaries of our flight. But to be imprisoned and have their life siphoned away... it is too cruel a fate. Even for our enemies.
How long have they been here?
Millennia.
Long enough.
Huh. That's cute. I like how they bring back what we actually dealt with in the raid itself. Like, a Sibelian was told by Echo of Neltharion, go get another Jardin, and he refused. Rephion was pissed off at Sibelian for being called like just a thing that they could throw to the side, like a thing that was just created. And now he's dealing with those experiments. I like it. If I die, let it be in battle.
These pitiful creatures. Did Father truly hold so little regard for life?
He cared only about forging a future in which the Black Dragonflight would be dominant.
As I have done.
You are not him, Sibelian. You wish to see our kind thrive, not dominate. It is an admirable pursuit.
Thank you, Rathian. But I must do better.
Okay. They learned a lot. Excuse me, you want to be free? Nope. You just want to go to the Shadowlands. Okay. I mean, I've been there. Wouldn't recommend it, but hey, your call. Specimen tanks destroyed. Oh, I guess that's up ahead. Huh. How about you? Or are you gonna attack me as well? Okay. Come here, Sibelian. I've done one of your quests.
You seem familiar.
Refion's Black Talon may not be the frontline soldiers, but they should be able to take care of the rest.
My wits are my own.
Mm-hmm. Ah, there's a specimen tank. Gotcha. Oh, you're just gonna deal... Okay, don't worry. I'll liberate them myself. They are literally all just... They just want to die. Alright. You know, sometimes it's just the only option you have, ain't it? Grant them the peace of death. Yeah, don't know what they're trying to build in here, but ew. Okay. Now, if everybody would be so kind to gather around. Howdy about everybody. Welcome, welcome to the conclusion of the storylines, or at least I assume the conclusions of the storylines. Our boy, Sibelian has some power, though. Damn! Sets himself on fire. And I kind of like that they show that even beyond us raiders showing up, there's more to it. Oh, he does the Fella Malorn thingamajig. Damn. Like, even beyond our presence, there are still people willing to infiltrate the laboratory, do some nasty things in here. The Jardin are just mindless beasties, though. The Jardin are like, nah, me orc, me glory in battle, zuck zuck. Alright. Sibelian.
Tell me.
May they find honor in death that was denied them in life.
Bound by the shadows of our past.
Dee-dee-dee-dee. You're not talking about things that I haven't seen yet, right, Santalama? You wouldn't do that, right? Like, you can clearly see where I am in the quest line. You wouldn't do that, would ya? Would you really? Are you that kind of person? Oh, man. I haven't read what you wrote, by the way. I saw something about this and this becomes an aspect, and then I looked away. It's okay, it's okay. I'm teasing. Sort of. Alright, one more tank. Rephion, you happy now?
Do you trust
The suffering of these abominations have come to an end.
Disgusting creatures. Unnatural aberrations.
They had no choice or agency in their creation. Neither did I.
Rathian, I did not mean...
Do I disgust you as well?
We have not known each other long, but I can see that you are every bit the dragon I am. If I have ever made you feel otherwise, I am truly sorry.
You literally told him that.
Thank you, Sibelian.
You literally told him like 2 weeks ago that you thought that he was an aberration as well. If I ever made you feel that way. You think? You think? But okay, it's nice that you actually touch upon it.
Is there something you wish to discuss?
My Black Talon forces continue to secure the laboratory, but I think we are done here. We have secured some sliver drakes that take us down to the central platform. From here we can continue below to where Sarkareth fell. I'm certain the beast in Emberfall will benefit from our presence.
As there are some serpent drakes stationed at the top of the experiments wing for us, champion. They should see us safely to the lower platform.
Okie dokie. But you know, character growth is nice and all that. I like that they actually make mention of it. They recognize, okay, this is set, and now they remember. As well as you could argue that 2 weeks ago they were still dealing with like the whispers that were coming out of the laboratory. I kind of feel like they could have made a bigger deal out of it, because both of them, including Sarkareth as well, so the three of them really became hyper focused on their goal and all the more aggressive during it. But besides casually mentioning like, oh yeah, I hear some whispers, they didn't really push into it. Whereas, again, I would argue that somebody like Rephion, if he would hear whispers, instantly alarm bells go off, but the heck do I know? Let's ride! Wait, you ride on drakes as well? Whee! Oh, how cute. We ride together. Wait, you're dragons yourself. How do... Okay. Okay. I guess you were too big for this. Yeah, fair. Alright. Neltharion's Sanctum.
We protect what is ours.
Aye.
I'd rather be fighting than talking.
Aye.
Hail.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Now then. We going down below. Nobody want to make mention of anything? No? Okay. So here, for those who, again, who haven't seen Aberrus. Is that how you saw yourself, Neltharion? Carrying the weight of the world? Yeah? That is some cool artwork, though. Yeah, alright. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then here the Herb Warder. Holding his dragon soul. Even though Aberrus was locked away before that. But, you know, you never know what kind of void creature made stuff. Or, you know, you never know what kind of architectural changes they were made. It looks cool. Whee! And this place, again, for those who haven't seen it, yeah. If you look under the water, which I spent like a good solid 10 to 15 minutes doing during the raid, you can actually see a bit of an upside down tower thing going on there. Which reminded me personally a lot about Karazhan. Karazhan is said to have a counterpart in the Twisted Nether itself, upside down. And it reflects the darkness within the Guardian Medivh. So there was Medivh himself, the Guardian side up above, and then the corrupted side down below in the form of Kil'jaeden inside of him. Of Sargeras inside of him. Which I thought was kind of cool. And this is...
This is the last place I wanted to revisit.
Oh no.
I could say the same for this entire facility.
You ready, boys?
Well then, let us get this over with.
Here we go. And this is where we had our final confrontation, where Sarkareth went all... void, yum 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 yum. And then we defeated him. Cool fight though, really cool fight. Oh, his body is still here? After 2 weeks, this... What? Ew, can you imagine the smell?
And you are?
These are trying times.
Good, you've made it. I could use your help.
Be careful.
Emberfall is in mourning. In truth, she's been grieving for Sarkareth for some time now. The way forward is for her to determine. We can only be there to support her along the way. There are shards of Sarkareth's signet scattered all over this room. Would you gather them? I believe that she would appreciate the gesture.
Guide you.
Yeah, okay. He was a great foe, our boy Sarkareth. He deserved more, if you ask me. It's okay. Emberfall, here you go. Emberfall looks at you as you approach. Ooh, cutscene. Hell yeah.
May his name be ever remembered.
After what he has done, why treat him with such respect?
He was Drakthir, and his memory will be a lesson. Instead of helping our people heal, he led many to despair and ruin, chasing the illusion of Neltharion's power.
If only Sarkareth had taken Deathwing's tragedy to heart, and understood that his legacy was poisoned long ago.
It is time for the Drakthir to make our own path.
Where do you hope it will lead?
Far from the shadows of the past that have haunted us, and free to build a legacy of our own. To a future you inspired me to believe in.
Aww. That's well cute.
Even the most painful moments have something to teach us.
Notherian was my teacher, my father, and my commander. I aspired to lead the flight as he would have, unable, or perhaps unwilling, to acknowledge the true malignancy of his vision.
I never knew Notherian. Only Deathwing, invading my nightmares, reveling in the certainty that I would become as twisted as he was.
That is not who you are, my brother.
Aww.
I thought my destiny was to guide our flight to its future. And I shall, but simply as myself, not as an aspect.
Nor shall I seek that mantle.
Me?
It would seem your days of hiding are over for good.
I am humbled. May your trust and faith in me guide my every step. For today, we emerge from all the shadows that sought to sow doubt and shame within us. The Black Dragonflight's legacy is ours to create.
Wow. Wow. Ebonhorn's becoming the leader. Wow.
I've been too long away.
Cool.
I am glad you are here.
Grief is a painful burden to bear. It warms my heart to see Emberfall emerge from her sorrow and focus on her people. The pain of her loss will ebb in due time. We need to inform Alexstrasza and the others of what transpired here, and of the future of the Black Dragonflight. All that you've done to ensure that we have a chance at that future. I would like you to be there.
Aspects watch over you.
And now, since I have tricked you all into appointing me as the future Aspects, I reveal the great darkness within me. O hail Neltharion, the Earth Warder, true ruler of the flights. Rawr. No? No betrayal, Bishin? Ha. Shooketh. Yeah. Who would have thought? My character's looking good, eh? Yeah. With Ebonhorn as Aspect on the bingo cards. Yeah. Even though there were many comments that were like, nah, it's gonna be Sibelian or Rephion or even Emberfall. Nah. Charlie, I haven't done the things yet. Stop spoiling. I know it's hard, but damn. 100%, yeah. So, okay, so this part, like, it's not a massive surprise. And I don't think Dragonflight is meant to be a massive surprise. Like, it's a story that's being told with some of the stuff at face value. And I quite like it. I quite like that instead of hiding in the shadows and like, oh, look at our twists and turns that we can add to our storytelling. It's like, nah, this is just how we want to tell the story. It's fantastic, in my opinion. Gonna go into opinion in just a moment, though. Let's finish up this quest line first.
Come now, speak.
Never let your guard down.
Welcome home, my friends. What news from Aberrus?
Hey, Marifra's even here.
Notherian's abominations have been eradicated. Sadly, not before Sarkareth succumbed to corruption and had to be struck down.
A heavy price to pay, but a reminder of the cost of seeking power.
That is a lesson each of us has had to learn.
Indeed, my brother. And by confronting the darkness of our flight's past, we have found its future.
As I had hoped you would. Tell me.
We believe Abyssian is the right choice to lead us.
His wisdom and compassion will pave a new path forward for us all.
I agree. And do you accept this charge, Abyssian?
I am honored to do so, but I will require my general and my diplomat at my side.
Aww.
Then let it be so. Come, take your place among our council, Earth Warder.
No snap, really?
Citizens of Valdrakken, hear me.
Ooh.
From this day forth, Abyssian shall serve his people as Earth Warder and aspect of the Black Dragon Flight.
Okay, where are you gonna put him then? Oh, right there. Oh, he's gonna stand right next to Nosdormu, which still leaves the question, who's gonna stand next to you, Alexstrasza? Who's gonna take that little spot right there, huh? It's gonna be Moruzand. Is it? Opposite of Nosdormu. Is it gonna be Moruzand? Ooh. Is it gonna be one of the Primal Incarnates? Ooh. Nah, it's gonna be Moruzand, ain't it? Put my money down now. It's gonna be Moruzand. You heard it here first.
It is good to see you.
A new path, but one that I accept gladly.
The winds guide you.
Where y'all going? You gonna go? You didn't suddenly get a mess. Oh, you're all gonna chill here in the corner like you've done before. Cool. Ah, that's cute. Look at him. Ah, he's so tiny though. Oh, that's cute. I like it.
Wisdom guide us.
It seems our fates are intertwined.
Was there something you needed? What is it? Suka, thank you very much, by the way, for the 37. If I missed any of you, I apologize. We are midst of a quest line, but thank you, thank you. Why is he small? He's older than Kalik. Well, he's not an aspect, is he? Our boy Kalik went through this magical ritual where, like, the moons aligned and, like, all the blue dragonflights started to vote, and they made him a new aspect. Marifra is also kind of tiny. Oh, no, Marifra... Wait, Marifra? Marifra, why are you as big as Caligos? Oh, no. Oh, no, we need to shrink Marifra a little bit. And then Abyssian is just regular-ass dragon, ain't it? We're gonna get there for... I mean, I expect. So, is she an aspect, though? Like, she is the aspect of the Green Dragonflight. Yeah, she's gonna take over for Mommy. But she hasn't been made official aspect, so she shouldn't be as big as Caligos, in my humble opinion. Anyways, what I would expect is the storyline, especially since the beginning of Dragonflight, has been to repower the aspects. That's what Alexstrasza wanted. There was even a cutscene where she, like, held up her hand, and then it didn't work, and then Razakev was like, flying off to, like, the vault. And in the meantime, we've been rebuilding the body of Tyr. His memories have been thrown into the timeways, and we're trying to get to the point where we can re-empower the aspects. As they've mentioned, against the Incarnates, we fought barely and won the first time around. We are now severely weakened, and slowly but surely, we are going to rebuild the flight and rebuild the aspects. We've done a lot of groundwork in the initial launch of Dragonflight. We dealt with the Bronze, we dealt with the Blues, we dealt with a whole bunch of people, and now more and more of those chapters are coming together. So we know that for this patch, Embers of Neltharion, a big ticket was going to be the Black Dragonflight, and a big ticket was going to be the Blue Dragonflight. So for the other flights are going to be in future patches. Yeah, it's been announced. We know that the next one is going to have the Bronze Dragonflight storyline in there. And then the red and the green still need to play out, I imagine. We have done a fair bit of portion for the green one. Like, we done, like, Ysera's been brought back, and then Marifra is like, oh, Mommy, I love you, and Mommy's gonna show her the ropes. But there is still a little bit more to be done there. And then, of course, a big question is, what about Alexstrasza? Like, the Lightbinder has done F-all in Dragonflight so far. She's just been the queen, and everybody reports back to her, but her storyline, she hasn't done a whole lot. But what can you do with the Red Flight, I wonder? And in my opinion, we bring back Ronin, and we bring back Coriolstras, right? And now everybody's gonna be like, yeah, but Ronin blew himself up with Fedamore, and Coriolstras blew himself up with the Cataclysm. But might I remind you that nobody actually dies in Warcraft? As well as, back when they were swept up by a time tornado and everybody thought they were dead. Nah, they were actually in the War of the Ancients. So I want to propose that both of them are having, like, magical adventures together, and we can bring them back. We can bring him back, and then Ronin can go, citizens of Dalaran, and Coriolstras can go like, hi, Alexstrasza, I love you. It could happen. It could happen. Johnny Lightnings, thank you very much for the 65, baby. Except for Arthas. Even Arthas, except he was turned into, what, 60 anima? Oh, it hurts. Oh, we laugh because it hurts.
Where there is life, there is hope.
Champion, Abyssian, Sibelian, and Raffion have come to an agreement of who should lead and are presenting a unified front. All three were quite eager to speak of your contributions and aid in Zarlek Cavern as well. It seems that they are also in agreement that they could not have succeeded without you. High praise indeed, and well deserved. Please, stay a little longer. The other aspects and I have matters to discuss, and I believe that you should be here as well.
Fair skies and strong winds.
Ooh.
Through great heroism and resilience, the threat of Aberrus has been quelled.
You're so pretty.
The Incarnates sought to use our fallen brother's memory as a weapon.
You're so pretty.
To divide us, turn us against each other, and weaken our resolve. They failed. Confronting these shadows has only made us stronger.
I'm just happy to be here.
Look upon us now. For the first time in an age, 5 aspects will take up our ancient charge once more and stand beside the mortal champions who have aided us at every turn. For soon, Azeroth will welcome from the dream a symbol of hope, and together we shall protect it.
What? Where did that come from? Oh, by the way, we planted a little seed in the dream and there's a new tree coming. What?
What is it you seek?
What? We still have much to do, but a sight of 5 united aspects fills my heart with hope and with joy.
Treasure the gift you have been given.
Ha! Okay. Neat.
I will listen.
I regret that I was never able to reach him to help him break free of the corruption that blighted his entire flight. I should not linger on the past. It is far too late to make amends with him, I know, but perhaps there are others I can reach. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so the tree bit was a little bit data mined. I don't know if they data mined a lot more. I just saw pictures fly by on the Twitter. Bit of a pet peeve on my end, but it's near impossible to avoid spoilers if you live on the internet. But neither here nor there. Like, for those who are like, oh, what just happened with that cutscene? Oh, there's more gossip dialogue. Hang on.
What would you ask of
Such a small seed, but fueled by hope and by love. It thrives. The time will come when it will leave the dream and come into Azeroth, grown and ready to fulfill its purpose. It was not until recently that I realized I too have a purpose to fulfill. My flight needed aspects. I fulfilled that role for years, afraid to acknowledge it. If I did, the mother would truly be gone. But she's not gone. No, this is Warcraft after all. And I'm not a child. It is my place to lead my flights. And I gladly do so. Okay, you need to take Calyx's quest to see the dialogue. Alright, hang on, I'll listen to the others first. As much as I would like to enjoy the victory, I cannot. The moment that I feared draws ever closer, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. One can turn the hourglass to change the flow of sands, but it only delays the inevitable. It does not negate it. When the moment comes to pass, I know that you will do what must be done. I thank you now, before I'm no longer able to do so. Ooh. I do not expect Sibelian and Raffion to become the best of friends, but I'm pleased to see them work together. My flight spent thousands of years consumed with corruption, paranoia, and chaos. We need unity, now more than ever. Your aid is not gone unnoticed. There's hope for the future of the Black Dragon flight because of you. Thank you. Oh, Nobbel, my apologies. I was preoccupied. Wait, are you gonna...
My return was absolutely crucial.
Is that what you tell yourself? Can you imagine talking to somebody, then you say goodbye, and the last thing that they make sure that you know, my return, absolutely crucial, I say. Yeah, okay. Alright, Sibelian, that's alright, boy.
There's magic in everything.
While I continue to search for the remaining blue dragons, I could use your aid in another matter. Alexstrasza and I plan on laying to rest the remaining essence of Malygos and Sindragosa. She's held on to the lingering essences after both were slain years ago. Senegos said there was a time where the dragons would be laid to rest in the Veiled Ossuary. Unfortunately, the place is a bit of a mess. He's gonna have to clean up the area with Stelagosa. Could you aid them?
Senegos should be within the Veiled Ossuary now. Alexstrasza and I will be joining you shortly. Malygos and Sindragosa both suffered violent deaths in their lifetime. The least we can do is put their remaining essences to rest.
And you say, our troubles may be far from over, but for the first time since the Primal Incarnates were released, my heart is warm with hope that we will succeed. My flight is not my only family, friends. The Aspects and their flights are part of it as well. It's been long since we've come together like this. I missed it. Thank you for all that you've done. If it was not clear by now, I consider you... Oh my god, man. Consider you part of my family as well. Oh, get that out of here. Kalik. Okay, like I always wanted to be part of the family. Do I get to join for Christmas? Yay! Not on a max tune, unfortunately, Cho. On a mage. So, howdy Marshkana. Howdy, everybody. I'm gonna be talking a little bit about opinions now. So as we can see, Ebonhorn has been appointed to wrap up the storyline. Abyssian, our boy Ebonhorn, has been selected to become the next aspect for the Black Dragonflight. And personally, as I said in my who will be the next leader of the Black Dragonflight video, Sibelian or Rephion, personally I think this is a good choice. He has led and helped High Mountain Tauren lead their people for generations. And if you compare him to a Sibelian, who was off-screen and has done some things off-screen, but was still very much following the shadow of their father. If you compare it to Rephion, who even though, you know, his goal was to protect the world, but kind of started Wars of Draenor, and kind of brought the Legion in, and kind of messed up a couple of times. Our boy Abyssian is like the less awful choice out of both of them. And then, of course, the story that they build on top of it. And in that regard, I have opinions. But I'll get to that in a moment. So our boy Abyssian has been selected to become the aspect. Now, it's more so in title rather than power, I would say. Because in order to become true, fully powered aspects again, we tried it. The first time we got into Dragonflight, we actually tried to make that happen, and we failed. And I think that we're going to fix that problem. I think we are going to re-empower them before Dragonflight is over. But that is to be decided, that is to be explained. So for now, this is where the Embers of Neltharion storyline ends, and this is the chapter for the Black Dragonflight, meaning that we still have the Blue Dragonflight to dive into. That's the quest I just picked up in. But I do want to talk a little bit about my opinion when it comes to story, because apparently... Centalama, honestly, Centalama, I want to apologize. I was poking fun at you, and I was just goofing around what you mentioned in the chat. Don't worry about it. I knew that Abyssian was going to become the next aspect like a month ago. I knew it during the questing itself, because I saw what kind of storyline they were writing. During the PTR, they made like an icon that was Abyssian as the aspect. Don't worry about it. He didn't spoil anything. I like to poke at people in chat that drop these kind of spoilers. Just to remind them, like, be careful what you say, as well as just have a little bit of fun with it. So honestly, don't feel embarrassed, don't feel ashamed. I'm having a bit of fun with it, but I might have come across as actual cross at you. I was not, trust me, I was not. Like I said, it's near impossible. Yeah, don't stress about it, honestly. No hate feelings, no madness, I was just poking fun. And same with Charlie, by the way. Like, Charlie asked me questions about it as well. Like, I don't know what's happening with the Blue Dragonfly storyline. Like, you know. We are going to dive into the Blue story today, yes. But I want to wrap up the Black Dragonflight storyline as well. So, I've seen people mad about them writing Rephion and Sibelian down in order to prop up good boy Ebonhorn, who has no flaws. Do you agree with the hate on this conclusion? Seems like most of the players like it, except for most of the streamers. Okay, so my opinion when it comes to the story of Embers of Neltharion. On the surface, I really like what they're doing with Dragonflight. On the surface, especially if we compare it to what they've done with Shadowlands, I think Dragonflight is a big upgrade. I think Dragonflight is kind of great, but at the same time, I'm missing depth in the storytelling. Like, if I take a step back and if I look at what exactly have they told us in the storyline of Embers of Neltharion that I didn't already know, I'm hard-pressed to find anything that I didn't know already. And that had like a major impact on the story. So while it's cool to dive in there, I'm like, I knew Deathwing was talking to the Void. I know that Deathwing's been corrupted with the Void. Raffion, for some reason, has forgotten what corrupted Deathwing, but I still remember. The Niffen, a new race introduced, which is kind of cool, and they're smelling everywhere, but they haven't really done much to the storyline. Like, yeah, okay, there's a new race. The Drogbar didn't really show up. And we went through the laboratory and we just knocked down everything. That came into our path. So for somebody who is familiar with the story of WoW, it kind of feels like we're redoing stuff. It kind of feels like we're just redoing the storyline of the Black Dragons. Like, oh my god, Deathwing was corrupted and following in his footsteps is bad? Yeah, no shit! What? No shit! Like, what? I know that storyline. But apparently, our Black Dragon friends forgotten about it. And I think, but this is a thing when it comes to the storytelling for Blizzard as a whole. They do a proper story most of the time in an expansion. If you contain it in an expansion, it's fine. But if you consider what happened before, then all of a sudden it starts to crumble. For example, our boy Raffion. What do we know about Raffion so far? Raffion has done everything in his power to protect Azeroth from the Whispers of the Old Gods, right? He helped us get a cloak. He saved Ebonhorn from being corrupted by the Old Gods. He was the one who struck down Azoth. And he went down into the cave. He hears whispers. And he goes, derp. Don't know what's happening, but I hear some whispers. There's somebody pulling at my mind, but it's at the edge of my mind. I don't know what's happening. And it's like, this is Raffion. If there's anybody in the world who is an expert on Old Gods, it's Raffion. What do you mean? But that title has been given to Abyssian. For some reason, even though Ebonhorn was saved by Raffion in the past, now it's Ebonhorn who saves Sibelian and knows how to suck out this new power that's been described as like Shadow Flame. How does Ebonhorn have this knowledge on how to suck out the corruption and throw it back at Fruk? Like, when did that come? When did that happen? What? And in my opinion, that flows into the idea of they're dumbing other characters down in order to lift up Ebonhorn. And this is not new to the storytelling of World of Warcraft, unfortunately. We can go, like one of the things that I talked about during previous streams, if you go back to Mr. Pandaria, which is this is like the glory days of storytelling, right? If you go back to Mr. Pandaria, we have a storyline, a scenario, in which Varian Rin needed to be raised up. And who did it take to make him look better? Tyrande the Whisperwind. In which you ended up in a scenario where Tyrande the Whisperwind, a fucking warrior maiden who has led her people for 10,000 years in hostile Night Elf lands against the Horde and whatnot, being told by Varian Rin to calm down, because otherwise we'll walk into a trap. What? What? And that's just an example of how they dumb down other characters in order to make other characters look better. And it's a fault of their storytelling. So I have criticisms on the storytelling. What would I have done in order to make it better? And this is something that I send them in as feedback during the PTR. There is a part in the questline where Sibelian gets his arm burned by Virak, and Ebonhorn is the one who saves him. In my opinion, at that point in time, Raffion should have come back, should have told them, look, I hate your guts, I hate that you want to become aspects and that we're in a competition together, but you're still family, and I'm still going to help you out. That way, you can still lift up Ebonhorn to be the greatest as he ever is and become the new aspect, but you don't completely nuke down Raffion. And there's still a little bit of bond with Sibelian, but that would be my recommendation. Then there's the story of Sarkareth, and this is another thing that's happening in Dragonflight right now. They're building something up, for example, the Primalist in the first one, that led it to the release of Razageth. We don't know a lot about the Primalist. All of a sudden, the Elements wake up, the Dragon Isles wake up, the Primalists wake up, and Razageth gets going. Wouldn't it be cool if there was this primal proto-dragon that's released and becomes a world threat, right? What I'm missing is the backstory of these Primalists. What I'm missing is, where did they come from? What is their motivation? What do they want to do? Why did they ally with the Primal aspects? Why did they want to become back to the elemental days? But they're already dead. They've been taken care of in the first raid. And a similar thing has happened now to Sarkareth. Sarkareth is an interesting character, but the depth of his story is about as a puddle. Sarkareth is the counterpart to Emberfall, looks at what's happened to the Drakfir, which is honestly a really interesting storyline. Sarkareth has been screwed over by Neltharion. They did everything right, and what were they rewarded with? Imprisonment. Why wouldn't he be pissed off at the aspects? Why wouldn't he be? So we got the in-between patch, which is Return to the Forbidden Reach. And even there, it was just like, yeah, Sarkareth is the bad guy now. He's going to subjugate his people. So instead of diving into an interesting storyline where you could, like, kind of see their point, and you could kind of argue, like, okay, this is what Sarkareth wants, and this is motivation, none of that is really explained, and instead he just becomes, oh yeah, I'm going to dominate my people, and I'm going to be the next Deathwing. There is more to be done there. There is more explanation to be given to a character like Sarkareth and to a character like the Primalist. You can do more there. So all that together, it might sound like I'm really disappointed with the story of Dragonflight. I'm not. I'm actually quite happy with the story of Dragonflight. It's just that it's not without criticisms, and there's definitely parts where they could do better. But overall, I find it a ton better than Shadowlands has been. And I just enjoy that the story that they want to tell is built up. They deliver it. It's just a matter of you kind of need to forget what came before in order to embrace it and go for it. And that is my opinion when it comes to the story of Dragonflight. By all means, if you're like, Nobbel, you're talking out of your ass, tell me. Yeah. It's like the story team went Sarko, who he just became a bad guy. A bad guy in order to push forward the story of the Black Dragonflight. Oh, and another thing, the time gating. I don't really understand why they decided to time gate the next part of the questline. I get the idea of, okay, like, Emberfall wants to mourn for a little while, but you can imagine that by the time we leave the raid and then the time we talk to Emberfall could have been a game time kind of thing. I don't really understand why they had to decide, like, 2 weeks later we actually get the conclusion of the storyline, but yeah. Do you think that Blizzard has become too afraid to force players to do stuff and they're slimming down the MSQ too much? Like, if they would flesh out maybe more, we'd complain about that instead. I think personally they should add more to it. Honestly, for this questline, you are required to finish up Aberrus. You're already being forced to raid in order to see the storyline. But I would argue why not just release LFR? Why is LFR being time-gated? Just let people do LFR. That's your whole reason why you designed LFR, is for people to witness the story. And now you're going to lock the story behind raiding? Nah, just let people do LFR, get the Sarkareth kill in, let them see the story. The raid's already been cleared. Normal's already been done. Those that want a progressive raid already progressive raiding. Why are you withholding? Why are you holding out on LFR? I don't really get that part. Have their aspect powers been restored, or is that still coming? That is still coming. Yeah, we have not restored their aspect powers yet. Where we are with that part is we've recreated the body of Tyr, and then we need to get, like, his memories or whatever he left behind, and those have been shot through the timeline, and that will be future storytelling. I am very, very warm. Would I like Ebonhor to be less of a good boy and show some flaws to make him more balanced with the brothers? I like Ebonhorn the way he is. I wouldn't mind more storytelling for Ebonhorn. But it doesn't necessarily need to be good or bad. Just show me more of the character of Ebonhorn. There is more to be told there. Like, I know that he's helped out the High Mountain Torrent, but then again, we also gotta remember, like, there's only so much time to tell a story, right? My argument is not so much that Ebonhorn is too perfect, which I can see how people see that. My argument is more like, why did you have to bring the other two lower in order to make him look that perfect, right? They could have had some moments to shine in the storyline as well, besides an Ebonhorn that constantly goes like, oh, you two are being so naughty, right? You're happy with the ending, just not how we got there? Nah, not even that. I actually like the in-between bits as well. It's just, it could have been done better, in my opinion. Like, if I had to give it a number, I would say, like, I enjoyed it to a 6 to a 7. But I can clearly see how you could push it to an 8 or a 9, right? And of course, per usual, before I get the comments on it, this is all opinion stuff. Like, it's just my opinion. If you're like, I really love the story, by all the powers to you. If you really hated the story, then, you know, all the power to you. It's weird that Ebonhorn hasn't talked to a single Black Dragon except for Rephion and Sibelian. Yeah. Has he not talked? I mean, I would imagine that he spoke to the other Black Dragonfly forces that we have. Wanting more. What is there was fine, but it felt like a Spark Note version rather than diving deeper into the characters. There you go. That's my last 10 minutes. There you go. How do I explain Nosdormu no in the future now? I mean, that goes back into olden times. which is this is something that they've been using for the storyline in general. He conveniently forgets or is unable to see the future when it's plot convenient, but other than that, he knows what's coming and he feels like it's coming closer. It's just that they didn't fully lose their powers; they were just severely weakened, and they actually have like a mortal faction, which was introduced with Mr. Pandaria, but they were part of the trading card games called. Oh God, what were they called? They were on the Timeless Isle, and they're called a certain faction, and they're like mortals that have been helping the dragons with cruising the timeways and keeping them safe. Time Walkers? Were they just called Time Walkers? Okay. At the same time, our mortal help also kind of helped Kairos to like send Garrosh into an alternate reality and all that. They're just called the Time Walkers. There you go. Yeah. So, and that's another thing, but we spoke about it earlier, Charlie, as well. Like, Refion's motivation. And I mentioned this earlier during the stream. Like, Refion's motivation never has been about leading the Black Dragonflight. His motivation has been about murdering the Black Dragonflight. Why? Not because he hates the Black Dragonflight, but because he wants to get rid of the corruption. It's only in Dragonflight itself where all of a sudden Refion really wants to lead their people. So... yeah, but that is just a conflict that they want to create between him and Sibelian, and I get it. Like, when it comes to a character like Refion, you don't have to explain a lot, because Refion has played a part in different expansions. A Sibelian is a new character and needs to be, well, not necessarily new, but has been out of the story since the Burning Crusade, so needs a more established character to carry him through the storyline. That's what a Refion was for, and now an Ebonhorn. So I can see why storytelling they decided to go there. Story progress still very much drip fed. What's your favorite dragon aspect model? Who looks the coolest? Might be Nosdormu. I liked Alexstrasza's new mortal form. It's gorgeous. But then I'll have to give it to Nosdormu, that's for sure.